Le Havre, France, you're riding along inside one of these trucks, thinking that a little while ago you were wondering how long you were going to hang around in Europe now that the Nazis are licked, when your first sergeant called a formation and said, "Men, you're going back to a reinforcement depot. Before moving on to Japan, you're getting a 30-day furlough in the States." Well, being a combat soldier and remembering what the brass had to say on the subject, you pile out of the truck feeling pretty good. You've been looking forward to that 30 days. You were getting a little afraid there might be a snafu. First off, you take a shower, all the time thinking what it'll be like to see that New York skyline once again. That first phone call, that first look on your girl's face after being away for 3 years. The Army wants you to look right on this furlough, so after the shower, they give you a whole new issue of clothing. During the Battle of the Bulge, you weren't worrying much about that extra pair of GI shoes or what happened to that OD blouse. Then you turn in your centimes and francs for good old American bucks and make sure to collect any back pay you've got coming to you. Here, T5 Jesse Huff of Hazard, Kentucky, kisses the first U.S. money he's seen in over 3 years. And immediately, Jesse and the rest of you find a use for that dough at the PX, where a special gift counter has been set up so all the fellows can buy things like lace handkerchiefs and French perfume they can smell but can't pronounce for their girls back in Pawtucket and Birmingham and Sacramento. At the trophy showdown, you learn that all men going home must submit their captured weapons for inspection. A lot of perfectly good relatives have been injured with grenades that weren't supposed to be loaded. Yes, and Army intelligence is interested in seeing you don't take along anything larger than a pistol.
Staff Sergeant Overstreet.
Any writing on that?
There's no writing there.
Okay.
Staff Sergeant Albright.
Where'd you pick this up?
It's right towards France.
Okay.
T5, Huff.
This all right, huh? Sorry, but you can't take the first one back to the States with you. You ought to know that.
Yes, sir.
Purple Heart.
Before leaving for home, each man is issued all the ribbons he's earned, which for you and these other fellows is just about every ribbon on the board.
Okay. Sure. Second Sergeant Cooper, James J.
Andrew J.
Andrew J.
Right.
90th Infantry Division, the Purple Heart and the Oak Leaf Cluster, wounded twice, huh?
Right.
And Combat Infantry Badge, the Silver Star, good man, and ETO Ribbon and 3. Staff Sergeant J.C. Holbrook, 5th Rangers. 1 Oak Leaf Cluster. Bronze Star. The Purple Heart. 3 Battle Stars. Infantry Badge. ETO Ribbon. And for good conduct.
After you've got your decorations, you buck your last chow line on French soil. All your life you've heard a lot about French cooking, but with you it's been pretty much Army food. When the final orders come through for you to take off, you uncross 2 of those 5 fingers frostbitten in last winter's campaign. Now convinced there'll be no hitch, that the Army's redeployment deal is no phony, and that it's really working out for combat troops. You've learned, too, that you've been cooling your heels in Europe this long because there just weren't enough ships to handle both combat and service troops, and that the medics, the signal corps, the engineers, and the quartermasters had first to be shifted to the Pacific. The trucks arrive at the port, and you start thinking about that war in the Pacific, about battles like Okinawa, where the casualties have been so high, and about the terrific job the Navy's been doing. As you board ship, you know that as an experienced soldier, you're needed to fight the Jap, and that this 30-day furlough is just a stopover, a breather between campaigns. You know that you're going to the Pacific so that you and the guys who've been slugging it out with the Japs from the very beginning can walk up another gangplank together. The gangplank that takes all of you from Tokyo to home.